this is a fun project as well. This is what we.
How do you have time for projects?
Don't really. We now have 3 brands, and I never sleep. So this was during research, when we were kind of researching the industry and researching the history of spirits in Wyoming too. We found that back during Prohibition, Wyoming was kind of, I mean, it was still kind of Wild West. There wasn't much going on. So no, pretty much the whole state just didn't listen to Prohibition. The bars stayed open. There was in some of the bigger cities speakeasies and stuff like that, but most bars just changed their name to pool halls. And then if a revenuer actually came through, they probably weren't seen from again because they were just stay away. But so we had actually one of the more industrial operations of making moonshine during Prohibition. In Kemmer, Wyoming, they had one of the biggest busts. There was 25,000 gallons of moonshine dumped down the streets, and it flooded part of the town. People were scooping it out of the streets with buckets, and one guy remembered his dad was able to get enough to buy a Model T. So we made moonshine on an industrial scale because there wasn't really reinforcement. And then the story, right outside of Casper, there's a small town called Edgerton. There used to be a moonshiner that would travel around disguised as a milkman and would ladle moonshine out of milk cans. So that's why we came up with Milk Can Mooneshine. It just totally fit. We have the story on the back, and we had these custom milk bottles made because we wanted something that was fun, but not a mason jar, because every moonshine is in a mason jar.
So yeah, this looks a lot easier than the big old.
Yeah, and they still give you that kind of fun, novel experience of drinking straight from the bottle. But I also said, what would people be bringing to the milkman to get filled up? Milk bottles, and it's painted white, so if someone's looking on, they have to look pretty close to know that there's moonshine in there.
Yeah. I thought it was a cloudy.
Yeah.
Cloudy liquor wine.
It's clear. Yep. So this one's actually one of my favorite things to make, and for the same reason, it's a spirit that has more flavor, more character, and it's got a cool history. So one of the other things we wanted to do was bring a more genuine moonshine to market, because a lot of the big brands of moonshine are pretty much just vodka put into a mason jar and maybe some fruit put in. So this one is old school recipe, pretty straightforward. It's beet sugar and corn, 50-50. Corn gives you the flavor, beet sugar gives you the booze, and it's distilled not as pure as vodka, so it's somewhere between vodka and tequila in its realm. And it's bottled at 100 proof, because you shouldn't be drinking moonshine under 100 proof anyways. And it's a fun one. It's a great one. It's fun to sit around the campfire and
if you're drinking moonshine at 40 ABV, you're drinking vodka. It's like.
Does this have kind of a appeal to you in the same way that absinthe does with its history? It's kind of got a checkered legal history, and absinthe has kind of been vilified historically.
I've always been a fan of things that are kind of on the fringe. I kind of have been always very interested in the stuff that's a little misunderstood, or the stuff that's a little bit, rebellious in nature. So that's kind of where that comes from. And moonshine and hot rod cultures kind of go hand in hand as well. So that was what I did before this, so it kind of made sense as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pour it in your tank and it'll make you go a little bit faster. So
now that I would think with moonshine kind of seeming to be more trendy, or at least it has over the last few years, I can see that kind of just naturally marketing itself. There's not that many contenders out there.
No. And people are drawn to the bottle. People buy it for the bottle, and then after they get over their fear of moonshine just being awful and burning your face off, they really like it. And people that are fans of the moonshine buy it up like crazy.
Now are they infusing it with fruits and stuff like that?
Yeah, last year we launched a huckleberry lemonade moonshine. This year we actually launched a cinnamon moonshine, which is fresh cinnamon sticks, brown sugar. So it's not like Fireball being a red hot candy, but like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So super delicious. But the moonshine definitely is one. We do an infusion class at our tasting room as well. You can pick vodka or you can pick moonshine. I like it better when you pick moonshine.
No, but moonshine,
that's awesome.
Limoncellos, stuff like that. We use like a little smoky for limoncello. It's a higher proof. You gotta suck the citrus. You're gonna get more of the citrus flavor out of the peels and everything. So the higher proof infuses better. So. And the moonshine taste is gonna have that darker, I don't know, richer flavor to it than vodka does, which carries through with the rest of the infusion.
Yep.
It gives it character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like everything else, this has a great smoothness and sweetness to it. It's just very approachable.
Yeah.
But it still has that telltale moonshine, corns kind of.
Oh yeah, and it's got a little bit of that burn factor.
Yeah.
Although it's not as much as.
And that's 100 proof. So
yeah,
that's
not as much as it should be.
It's I always tell people it's not as dangerous as you think. For 100 proof, it's pretty tame.
No, it's dangerous on your body if you drink too much of it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't taste like it. It's
Moderation in all things, especially moderation.
moderation in moderation.
Yeah, so this one is definitely one of my more favorite ones to make. A lot of smaller distilleries basically will just rebottle their White Dog bourbon. White Dog bourbon isn't the greatest tasting thing in the world, so I didn't really want to go that way.
A little
So
stringent.
it's designed to be drank at 100 proof, straight from the bottle. So that's why it's, I worked on the smoothness, worked on finding that balance of flavor where it had flavor but wasn't too heavy. And something that people could get into once again, kind of a baby step for them to kind of try new stuff. And I just made a batch of, it's called Cherry Bounce as an experimental thing. It's a Martha Washington recipe with this, and it was awesome. That's what I drank.
Nice.
Cherry has an infusion, or?
Yeah, you do, it's honey, and then you infuse fresh cherries. So I cut up fresh cherries, put them in there, some
You
honey.
can never go wrong when you infuse fresh cherry.
No. I definitely think that cocktails with moonshine, we tell people anything you make with vodka you can make with moonshine. It'll just be more interesting and stronger. And you get more bang for your buck. This sells for about $25 to $28 a bottle. And it's fun and good.
And the bottle is good as hell.
Yeah, and the bottle's cool, and you can use it for a lot of other stuff. I mean, people use these things for all sorts of stuff. Somebody made a lamp out of one.
Do you have any issues with the corks drying out or anything like that?
Well, not with the corks drying out, but we actually just finally got new corks made that are solid because the moonshine has been pushing through this because it's too high of a proof. So it's been pushing through cork and been having leakage issues with it. So that's now been fixed with our new corks. They were supposed to take 8 to 10 weeks to get here, and they took 25. So I've been waiting on those for months and months and months. So finally we launched it.
From a business perspective, do you have like a single source list where you try to have backup sources for most of your stuff? Or?
I always try to get them. It's sometimes hard because, like I said, we had these custom made for us, but we do have 44,000 of them because of that. So I don't really need backup sources for those. I worked with 4 different cork companies before I finally found a resolution for that. These bottles, like I said, there's no other producers that make them. So there's things I can't get backup supplies for, but all of our raw ingredients, I have backup supplies. All of my botanicals, I always blend at least 4 suppliers together because the quality differences. Sometimes somebody will send you juniper berries that look like blueberries and are amazing, and sometimes they look like peppercorns, and the flavor is totally different. So the supply chain is the bane of my existence. That's what I'm constantly having to fight. That's what I'm constantly dealing with. Working for 2 times the amount of supply time. When we first got these labels, they delaminated and separated on the shelf. We couldn't figure that out by just putting them on until a month after they were sitting on the shelf. And so it's a constant battle, and it always seems like every step of the process takes a lot of refining until it finally kind of smooths out, and then you have that system set up. So it's always working on supply.
Now, do you have other employees other than your sister?
We have employees in the tasting room. So in the distillery, it's just me. My mom does a little bit of help out there, and people will take shifts on the long distillation nights. But out in the distillery, it's just me. In the tasting room, I think we have 4 employees right now, 4 full-time employees that make the cocktails, interact with the consumers, and we're working on moving one of them into a sales position. So they will probably end up refilling that position. So it's been nice, kind of getting. I'm glad I don't have to deal with employees necessarily. That's my sister's bane of her existence. But it would be nice some days not to have to squeegee floors and do dishes for half the day. But not yet. Until we sell more vodka, we're gonna have to just continue to do it ourselves. So yeah.
Sweet. I will give you back your time since this was new.
Okay.
But I appreciate the tour of all the different brands. I personally might, and I think some of these folks will like the back behind the scenes. Like, this is the pain that we go through. Like, this is the challenge to make. Because I think when people buy a new brand, they appreciate the label and everything. Like, oh, that's really nice, it's local. But the amount of work that goes into getting it there, the years of work, people never seem to recognize.
Yep.
They recognize the final product and go, oh, you got lucky.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you made a vodka, you just got lucky. Like, no, there's a process and a journey that you have to go.
Lots of mistakes, trials and tribulations, and 7 days a week of working 15-hour days.
Yeah. Try.
Yeah, it takes some time.
For
It's
you
not a
guys,
vacation job.
no. If you see this, you should buy these brands, if anything, so that you can help him get more people to squeegee the floors and clean the tasting room.
And maybe help them with supplier issues.
And help
so,
supplier
so
issues.
you can focus on
Yeah.
the product.
And then I can make more whiskey. So
There you go.
What was the site again that distributes?
Ezra's.
Ezra's. Google it.
Yeah, check out Ezra's. Look for the.
I'll put it as I'll put a link in the description so you guys can click on it and go there. Maybe it'll be available for you. I know for us it'll be like, no, you're nasty, screw off. Go to someplace else. Ship it to a friend, and then just go pick it up. That's why I've got a friend in Massachusetts that I know.
That's the only reason he has a friend in Massachusetts.
One friend.
One friend.
He's actually probably drinking right now in a
Yeah,
bar.
he probably hears it.
So thank you, and hope you guys appreciate it. I'll probably cut this up into different videos for you so you can digest each little piece. That's it. We're teaching you how to drink.